Howdy, cowboys and cowgirls. I'm Cowboy Jack, and I'm really excited. Do you see where we are today? Wow, we're at the Lone Star Flight Museum in Houston, Texas, the home of a whole bunch of really cool aircrafts and a couple of other really amazing surprises. You guys want to go inside and check it out? Come on. You know, they just got a brand new exhibit, something to do with outer space maybe? Do you guys like outer space? I love outer space, but I also love really cool airplanes, and we're gonna get to see a lot of them. We may actually get to go inside a couple of them. This is gonna be an amazing adventure. Wow, what a cool front door. That looks like an airplane hangar. Well, that makes sense because we're at the Lone Star Flight Museum. Wow. Look at this, come over here. This is the biggest plane they have here at the museum. I'm just kidding, that's just a model toy airplane right there. But we're gonna look right around this gigantic World War II plane right here. Wow, so this is an actual bomber plane from the World War II era. It's really big and really huge. You know what's unique about the Lone Star Flight Museum? All of these airplanes still fly. See, they have these oil pans here that keep all the oil off of the ground because these older machines actually drip a little bit of oil. Look at this thing. Boy, look at this gigantic propeller right here. It's so big. Wow. And look, it's got the wing numbers underneath there, all kinds of stuff. This is one of the biggest planes I've ever gotten up close to. It's got these really huge flaps, all kinds of different devices to help it fly in different directions. And that's where the pilot would sit, right up there in the cockpit. That is so cool. But look at what is right next to us. I mean, we're surrounded by really amazing aircraft. Take a look at this. Wow, isn't this a ginormous airplane? This was used in the military too. And you know what's unique? This is actually a Navy plane. And you can tell that because right here at this joint, these wings actually fold up. Now that's kind of a unique feature. Why do you think they would want the wings to fold up? Well, it's because these old planes used to be transported all around on different aircraft carriers. Those were really big boats with a huge landing strip and runway right on top of them that would float out in the middle of the ocean, and then they could use these planes and let them take off right off of the boat. It was such a really cool thing. But look at this, it even has a gunner turret right there, and that's where the pilot would sit up front and the gunner would sit in the back to fight off any enemies. This is a really cool airplane. All right, cowboys and cowgirls, this is the Lockheed T-33. This was a training airplane. They built this because most pilots learn to fly, or all pilots learn to fly on an airplane that's propelled by a propeller right up front. This plane uses jet engines, and they needed something to teach pilots how to fly something not with a propeller, but with a jet engine. And this was the plane that was used to do it. Such a really cool plane. And see, like instead of having a propeller up there on the front, it literally has a jet engine there in the back, so it can go really super fast. Whoa, almost ran into this right here. Wow, better look out. All right, this here is the AG-14. It's like the Mini Cooper of airplanes. So back in the early days in 1940, there was two guys here in Houston, Texas that wanted to develop a two-seater sport plane. But because of war efforts, their project kept getting put on hold. They wanted something just really sporty and safe that two people could fly around and have a really good time in. But because of first World War II and then because of the Korean War, they weren't able to get the materials. Eventually they made only 4 of these, and this is one of them right here. And it's a really great, really cool, fun thing to fly. And as you can see, it still flies today. But it's like a tiny car, but it's an airplane. That's so fun. Well, I was looking around and I stumbled on something really crazy. Look at this gigantic airplane here. This is a DC-3. This airplane was built in 1940, and it was one of the first all-metal birds to be flown by a commercial airway. It's a really cool plane. It could actually seat 22 passengers or 23 passengers. I can't remember, it's one of those numbers. More than 20 passengers, 2 pilots and a flight attendant. It's really fun. Wow, guys, come right over here. Whoo, we gotta look out here. Watch out for the wings of the DC-14. So look at these wings and all the work that goes into them. I mean, all of these little rivets, all the way up and down the wings. It's insane the amount of craftsmanship that goes into these. And also, like we've learned before, it takes an awful lot of skill and passion to keep these things maintained and running right. You guys want to guess how many steps it is from the beginning of the wing all the way down to the end? Let's count it off. You guys want to count with me? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 steps. Wow, well my stride, meaning my step, is about 3 feet long, and I took 15 steps. So that means these wings are approximately about 45 feet long a piece. That's incredible. Wow, it looks like it's open. Let's go check this out. Wow, would you guys want to see what it looked like to fly in 1940 in a commercial airplane? Let's go see if we can check it out. All right, cowboys and cowgirls, well here I am standing right inside this DC-3. This airplane was built in 1940. That's a long time ago. What an amazing year. There was a lot going on in our country at that time, but this was one of the first models of all metal birds to fly all the way across the country. You guys want to come check it out? It's really cool. Wow, look at this. So in the 1940s, they did things a little bit differently. Right back here was like the kitchen. They could actually serve hot meals, and they would do so actually on regular plates with silverware and everything. Right here from this kitchen, that's where the flight attendant will work. And of course they have a restroom, because these flights weren't just really short, they went long distances. So the restroom kind of looks like a restroom today, a little bit more modern now, but about the same size. But did you know that flying from coast to coast on an airplane like this in the 1940s would actually take you about 15 to 17 hours? Before this airplane, it would take you like 25 hours to get from New York to Los Angeles, and you'd have to make a whole lot of stops along the way. This airplane enabled them to do it in only like 3 or 4 stops, which was really incredible at the time. Wow! Look at these seats. These seats look really cushy. They had it really nice back then. This looks like a rocking chair, like a big old comfy chair. You'd put your briefcase up here. Back in the 1940s, businessmen and women always had briefcases with them. This would be a great spot to stow them away. All the way up here is the cockpit. That's where the pilot would sit. Wow. You guys want to sneak ahead of me up there and go take a look at the cockpit? All right, now don't touch anything when you go in there, but go take a look. It's really neat. All right, that's enough. You guys aren't licensed to fly this thing, are you? Let's come out of the cockpit and just look at this. I mean, this was so cool, but even in the 1940s, they still had seat belts on them, because it's always real important to be safe no matter what you're doing. Wow. And you know what's unique about this? In the 1940s, they didn't even have air conditioning, so it gets kind of a little bit hot in these airplanes. Hey, are you guys laughing at my hair? Okay, I'll put my hat back on. But as a gentleman in the 40s, you would always take off your hat when you went inside a building or in an airplane. It was really fun back then because people would get really dressed up. It was very expensive to fly, and it still is. But back then, it was like a big to-do. You'd put on your suit and tie and rush off to the airport and say, "See you later, bye-bye." All right. Wow. It was really neat to look around inside this actual airplane from the 1940s. That was a long time ago. That's older than Cowboy Jack by a long shot. All right, well, let's come out here. There's a whole lot more to see all the way around this airplane. And as you can see, all on this airplane, it's branded Continental Airways. That's the predecessor to today's United. It's a really cool company based in Houston, Texas. But look how big even the tail is on this thing. It's a really big machine. Wow. And even in the 1940s, they still used these. We've learned about these navigational lights before. There's a white and a red, and at nighttime it would help people on the ground tell which direction you're going. Whoa. Guys, stand right here and look all the way up the nose of that airplane. I mean, this is a huge piece of machinery, a huge transportation device. And you know what? As big as it is, it only would hold 23 passengers, 2 pilots, and a flight attendant. Howdy, cowboys and cowgirls. I'm Cowboy Jack, and today I'm really excited. We're gonna see some really interesting stuff. Do you see where we're at? That's right. We're here at Memorial Hermann Life Flight in the Texas Medical Center in Houston, Texas. This is gonna be a whole lot of fun. Just look around me over here. You can see some really great skyline, but you know what else? These really big helicopters. And these helicopters are very important for our community because if there's ever really bad trauma, they can get you to the hospital super fast. We're gonna get to learn all about these helicopters and even meet an air paramedic today. Come on, let's go check out this helicopter. Oh, wow. Hi, I'm Cowboy Jack.
Hey, Cowboy Jack, how are you?
Good, how are you? What's your name?
My name is Ryan. I'm one of the flight nurses here.
Oh, wow. So you actually work on this helicopter?
I sure do.
That's incredible. So this is the office?
And this is my office.
That's crazy. So you like being up real high?
I love it.
Wow. Well, so this is a helicopter, right?
This is a helicopter, yes,
So
sir.
we know it's a helicopter because it looks like a helicopter. It has 4 big blades up there that spin really fast to lift this thing in the air.
That's right.
But this isn't just any old helicopter, is it?
No, it's not. So this is an air medical ambulance helicopter.
Air medical ambulance helicopter?
Yes, sir.
So does that mean this is like an ambulance that flies?
This is just like a ground ambulance, and we have all the same equipment that would be on a regular ambulance, but we can get patients to a hospital much quicker than on the ground.
So that's really important because this helicopter can get you to the hospital in a big hurry if you ever needed to get there in a really big hurry. Because when you're in an ambulance on the ground, you have to deal with all that traffic. But up in the air, I guess you guys make the rules, right?
We sure do. Yeah.
That's really cool. So how fast does this helicopter go?
So these helicopters will go about 150 to 160 miles an hour.
160 miles an hour?
Yes.
Wow, you should never drive that fast on ground. That's really scary. This is incredible. So like, this is the front. So this is where the pilot would sit?
So the pilot actually sits on the other side. But yes, the cockpit is where the pilot sits to fly the helicopter.
Wow, that's a really cool door. Can we see that one more time?
Absolutely.
Look at me, I'm just operating this door like I know what I'm doing. This is the first time I've ever seen one. So the pilot would get in just like this. That is so cool. That kind of works like a Lamborghini door or something almost.
It kind of does, yeah.
Whoa. Wow, so this thing is covered up in all kinds of different tools. And I see like a lot of these little things sticking down around here.
Yeah.
And like that one up top. What do those things do?
So these are all a bunch of different types of antennas that the helicopter uses during its flight.
Okay. Because I guess you guys take off and you don't actually, like, the control center, which is right in there, needs to know everything about where you're at and how soon you'll be at the hospital, right?
Exactly. So the people that call us to go on a call from the control center, they have a big television screen and they can see exactly where we are around the city of Houston.
That's so cool. It's almost like they're watching a video game, but it's real life because that's actually where you're at.
That's right.
But when you're on the helicopter and you guys are transporting someone to the hospital, you have a really important job, right?
We do. We do have a really important job. So me and my partner, we sit in these 2 back seats right here.
Wow, guys, there's really cool seats in here. Come look at that. So y'all sit in those seats. Oh, and that's where the stretcher is. So that's where the patient would be.
That's right. And we take care of the patient while the pilot flies us to the hospital.
Wow. And all while you're in the air. That seems like there's so many things going on, such crazy time. How do you keep everything organized in your head?
We train a lot. We do a lot of training at the bases, and so we go over our protocols, and we just practice. Practice makes perfect. I know you've heard that saying before. So that's exactly what we do.
That's exactly right. So we talk about that a lot, right? So anytime you're doing something for the first time, you're not very good at it. But over time, you repeat that process and you keep trying and trying to get better. And eventually you become an old pro, just like Ryan here. Wow. This helicopter is just so incredible. Wow, guys, here comes a helicopter landing. I took my hat off because it's going to get really windy. Wow, guys, look at this thing right here. This thing is full of instrumentation and all kinds of different devices all over the place. But I noticed this one. I thought this was a water gun, but that's not a water gun. What is that?
No, Cowboy Jack, this is not a water gun. This is what's called an airspeed indicator. So when the pilot is flying the helicopter, the wind that blows towards the helicopter will tell the pilot how fast we're flying.
Wow, so this is like your speedometer right here.
Kind of, for the pilot, that's right.
That's incredible. And obviously these are like your stairs to get into your office, right?
That's correct. These are our little steps.
That's really cool. You see how that guy, before he gets in the helicopter, he's putting on a helmet. That's important because there's a lot of safety gear. Like Flight Nurse Ryan said, these are actually really fast machines that go up to 160 miles per hour. So you have to wear a lot of safety gear to keep yourself safe while you're flying to do your job. Wow, those blades are getting going really, really fast. I better hold on to my hat. Hey, are you guys laughing at my hair? Wow, they're closing the door, so that must mean that they're getting ready for takeoff. Takeoff is really cool. You can hear the blades starting to go faster and faster right over there. They just took off. Did you see how it takes off? It goes straight up and then it starts going the direction it wants to. It's an amazing machine. Wow, that was really neat. Well, you know what I noticed as we were walking this way to be safe for while they were taking off?
Yeah.
I noticed these big things on the ground here. Is that some kind of reflector or what is that?
So Cowboy Jack, these are what we call helipad lights. And at nighttime, it gets real dark outside. And so all these lights on the helipad will shine green so that the pilots can see where they need to land when we bring a patient to the hospital.
Okay, so do these actually change color? Like if you weren't supposed to land here, would they be red maybe?
Nope, so they're always going to be green.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool because like you're saying, at nighttime, there's not a lot of lights up here. If you look around over here, we're kind of up above the city. We're really high up in the air right now. And so there's no light shining up here, so they know exactly where to go thanks to these helipad lights. Okay, so as I'm looking around this helicopter, it's such a great, beautiful big machine, and there's all kinds of different stickers and information all over it. But I saw this one right here and it really caught my eye. Did you know that I actually have 6 dogs myself?
6 dogs?
Yeah, we're crazy dog people. We love our puppy pack. But I saw this puppy paw and I wanted to know what that means.
So what we have is we actually can transport canine officers, which are dogs that work with police officers. Whenever they get injured on the job, they can actually call us and we will transport them to a veterinary office.
That's incredible, but hey, you're used to working on people, so are you actually trained as to work on puppy dogs too?
Absolutely, yeah. They train each and every one of us to take care of a dog whenever it's sick and injured.
Wow, that's incredible. You talk about having a very versatile skill set. You can do a little bit of everything, right?
You sure can.
Wait, do you fly this thing?
I personally don't fly it. No
I
way.
bet that's a big job to have to learn how to fly this thing. But I see a lot of other cool information on here. So like this number, I guess this is the identifier for the aircraft?
Yes, sir, that's the identifier.
Wow, that's cool. And then right here I see Children's Memorial Hermann. And that's fantastic because they specialize in taking care of us little people, right?
We sure do.
So, wow. I'm looking around and there's just so much equipment here. I can't take it all in. It's crazy. Could we actually look inside?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get on in.
Is there a special way to do it, or you just step on up?
You just step on up, Cowboy Jack.
All right, here we go. In the helicopter. Wow. Woo. It's got a low ceiling in here.
You watch your head.
I found that one out the hard way. Wow, guys, so this is my first time ever sitting inside a helicopter. This is great. I guess I can take these sunglasses off for a second. These are great. You see what it says on it? That's right, that's exactly where we're at, Memorial Hermann Life Flight. So cool. I have to wear these outside because it's really bright up on this helipad.
It sure is.
I bet you have to wear sunglasses all the time to protect your eyes.
Well, Cowboy Jack, I actually work on the night shift.
Oh, okay.
So I don't need sunglasses whenever I go to work because it's always dark outside.
Well, that's nice. But I bet, do you ever feel tired working the night shift?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because you have some kiddos of your own, right?
I have 4 kids.
Wow, that's really cool. So, anyways, inside this helicopter here, I see so many different devices, and this is basically, like you said, an ambulance on wings. Well, not on wings, but on, what do you call those? Rotors? Blades? Rotors. There we go. So this is all of your medical equipment that you would need, and the patient would be sitting right here in this big stretcher.
That's correct.
Wow.
Yep. We'll take all this stuff off of the stretcher, and the patient lays on here just like on a regular bed.
And I bet you guys don't always get to land right on a helipad, do you?
Oh, no. We always, we'll land in streets, we'll land in grassy fields, we'll land on the highway.
Wow.
On the freeway, anywhere we need to land as long as it's safe to land.
What do you think the most interesting place you've ever landed was?
Oh man, I think the most exciting place to land is on these big freeways in Houston. When there's so many cars, we'll have big fire trucks come and they'll block off the freeway so that we can land right in the intersection.
That's the fantastic thing about these helicopters, is they can literally land almost anywhere as long as there's no overhead obstructions, right?
Absolutely.
So if you were in an accident or if something bad was happening, almost anywhere in the world, they can get to you so fast. And like we learned, this thing can go 160 miles per hour. So you can get back to this hospital or any of the other Memorial Hermann hospitals very quickly.
That's right.
That's so, what's the range of this? Like, so how far out do you guys cover?
So we have a total of 6 helicopters that can go 150 miles around the greater Houston area.
150 miles is a long, long way.
That's correct.
So that would be like all the way out, probably past Mont Belvieu.
Yeah, way past Mont Belvieu.
Up to Huntsville.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, on the east side, you would be way past Katy, maybe even to Columbus.
Oh yeah, we can go as far as San Antonio, we can go to Waco, to Dallas. We just have to get approval from the boss to go farther than 150 miles.
Wow, but I bet you have a limitation of how far the fuel will take you.
That's right, yep.
This is a big engine. I don't even know what kind of fuel it runs on, but I bet it goes through a lot of it.
It does go through a lot, and actually we have 2 engines on this helicopter.
Whoa, is that in case one goes out, or do you use both of them at the same time?
Correct. If one of the engines goes out, we have another engine that can safely land us to the ground.
That's really incredible. This is just such a fantastic machine and such a valuable purpose for our community. Yeah, who started all of this?
Funny you mentioned that. So you remind me of someone.
I do.
You sure do. His name was Dr. James Red Duke.
Dr. Red Duke. I grew up in Houston. I know all about Dr. Red Duke. So he started this program?
He was the founder of this program back in 1976.
1976. That was before I was even born. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, cowboys and cowgirls, if you've never learned about Dr. Red Duke, I suggest you do a little bit of reading on him. He was a really fantastic, innovative man that took medicine to great different places, even not just here in Houston, all over the state and really all over the world. He was a really smart man.
Absolutely. We were actually the first air medical program in the state of Texas and the second in the United States of America.
Wow, the second one? Mm-hmm. Well, we are a pretty big city here.
We are.
So this is, guys, this is so cool. I'm sitting here with Flight Nurse Ryan. We're talking, just having a great conversation inside a real helicopter.
That's right.
Could I look at the pilot's seat?
Yeah, come on, let's go.
Whoa. Oh, watch your head when you're getting out. Wow, they don't make these helicopters for cowboys. Actually, I think you guys are all really tough. You guys are tougher than cowboys. What you do is incredible.
Well, thank you. All right, go ahead and hop on up, Cowboy Jack.
Okay.
Watch your head.
Let's do this. Maybe I'll take my hat off until I get situated. I'm sitting right here in the pilot's seat, and there's all these navigational tools. And they have a sunshade up right now, but you can see right out the windshield everything you need to see. They use all these dials to communicate with base and figure out where they're going, how fast they're going, and I bet this joystick right here has a really important job. I'm not going to touch it too much, but wow, they even have this really cool helmet right here. Well, I better get out of this driver's seat. I'm not really supposed to be here. All right, so Flight Nurse Ryan.
Yeah.
We got to look inside the helicopter and we've seen all the way around it and I love it. But how do you get that stretcher actually into the aircraft?
Well, let me show you, Cowboy Jack. So there's these 3 latches on the back. 1, 2, and 3. And you just push them like a button and it opens up And we call these the clamshell doors.
Wow, that is really cool. I had no idea that opened.
Yeah.
That is really unique. So right here, so this gives you full access to the stretcher right there.
It sure does. And let me show you how we take it out.
Okay, yeah.
So we come over here and we squeeze this red handle right here. If you see that.
Okay.
And we pull it out. And
wow.
That's how we get the stretcher out.
And you would be doing this right in the middle of a freeway, in the middle of a grassy field, you know, wherever you were landed.
Yeah, absolutely, wherever we pick up the patient. Yeah.
Wow, so when you get the patient loaded up on this and you strap them in for safety, right?
We do, so we take off our bag. So this bag has everything that we need to help a patient whenever they're injured or sick.
Okay.
And this is the little monitor that we hook them up to. And this is an oxygen bottle. And so we take all of this stuff off of the stretcher and we put them on the stretcher. And then once we're ready, we load them back into the helicopter.
Wow, that is so neat. Guys, look how big it is in there. You remember we were sitting in there and it looked kind of small, but when you take out that stretcher, there's actually a lot of room. Wow, this helicopter is even bigger than I thought it was. This is crazy.
In Cowboy Jack, there's also a way where we can take 2 patients if we need to.
Really? How would you do that?
We can. So what we do is we take some of this equipment out of the helicopter, and what this is what we call a secondary stretcher. And so we take it out and we basically sit it in these grooves and we slide it in. And so we can have 1 patient laying here and 1 patient laying here. We just have to kind of reconfigure the aircraft.
Wow, I've seen this device before. That's like that's not a defibrillator. What is it?
Close. This is called the Lucas device. So when somebody's in CPR and we have to push on their chest to bring them back to life, this will actually take over for us and give us a break. And it's a machine that does the work for us.
That's right. Wow, we learned about that with our friends at ESD 11. That's such a great device. And I guess it frees up you to check on other medical concerns while that machine is doing its job.
It really does. It's a lifesaver.
Wow, aren't machines incredible? I mean, not only can they help us get around and do things a lot easier, but they're also life-saving. That's insane. Wow, well, thank you so much for showing us the back of the helicopter. These clamshell doors are really cool.
You're welcome. Hey, Cowboy Jack, could I get your help?
Absolutely. What do you want me to do?
So we're gonna go ahead and put the stretcher back in the helicopter.
All right.
And what I need you to do is if you can lift up these legs whenever I tell you to, we'll slide it on in, okay?
Okay.
All right. Go ahead and lift those legs up for me.
Look at that.
There you go. That's called teamwork.
Hey, first day on the job. I'm already doing good.
I think you're ready to go.
Hey, can I help you close these doors?
Yeah, come on, let's do it. And then we just pop the latches. You want to pop that one?
Absolutely.
There
Look
we go.
at that. Now I've actually got to work on a life flight helicopter. That is so neat. Wow. I guess that's the exhaust pipe for the helicopter.
That's basically the exhaust pipe. That's one of the engines.
That is so neat.
Yep.
Boy, we've learned a lot here with all these helicopters. I mean, these machines are so incredible. Oh, I didn't even notice this before, but I guess that's a light so you can see where you're landing at nighttime.
Yep, so we have a light on this side and we have one on the side over there as well as the front. So whenever we're landing, the pilot can see where he's landing, and they're very, very bright.
And I bet that's really important to you because like you said, you work the night shift.
I do.
So you guys need those lights whenever you're coming down at the scene of an accident.
That's right, and you know, some of the things we have to look out for are power lines and telephone poles and things like that are kind of hard to see at nighttime. These lights help us see before we land so that we don't hit them.
That is really important because power lines are very, very dangerous. It's full of high voltage. So whenever you're playing in your backyard or doing anything outside and you have like a long pole, like say you were cleaning the pool with a long skimmer net, you would want to make sure that there's no power lines anywhere near the end of that pole because it could be really bad news, but it would be really bad news for an aircraft too.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, I think Memorial Hermann Life Flight is just absolutely incredible. The value you bring to the community. And I heard another thing. If a patient needs it, you can actually bring blood to them?
We sure can.
That's incredible. So a lot of times if you're in an accident, you might need a blood transfusion. What's called a blood transfusion? That's when they bring you blood that somebody has donated to help your body.
That's right.
And so you guys can take this aircraft and bring it to them really, really quickly. That's life-saving, right?
That's right. So there's actually something, Cowboy Jack, called the golden hour. And it's from the time of injury until the time that you get to the trauma center. And within that golden hour is the most important amount of time to save someone's life. So if we can give somebody who needs blood blood within that hour, it increases their chances of living.
Wow, well
surviving.
That's a really important part of your job. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow, cowboys and cowgirls, we're here on the helipad and we've learned all about those helicopters and they're really neat. I absolutely love what Memorial Hermann Lifelight does to take care of the city and make sure if you're in a critical situation, they can get you to the hospital extra fast. You know what's also unique about this hospital and Lifelight is that if your injury is significant enough, they can bypass the emergency room and there's an elevator right in there that'll take you directly to the operating room. That just skips a step in the equation and gets you help a lot faster if you need it. Wow. You know what? As we've been walking around the helipad, I noticed a lot of different markings. And I see these numbers. Hey, Flight Nurse Ryan, can you tell me what these numbers mean?
Yeah, Cowboy Jack. So the 22 stands for 22,000 pounds. And that's the weight that this helipad can handle for a helicopter to land on.
All right, cowboys and cowgirls, well, this is a traditional flight crew. These will be the guys that man the aircraft and actually make sure it gets where it's going and you get the help you need once they get there. It's absolutely incredible. And just like any first responder we meet, we always want to say thank you for what you do. We really appreciate what you do to keep us safe and make sure we get to the hospital as quickly as possible and get us any help we need in that process. You have an incredibly important job and it's so valuable to the city of Houston. Stay safe, and real quickly, we just want to say thank you for your service, all right? See you guys later. Wow, this is such a great, fantastic experience. One day you've never seen the inside of a helicopter, the next day you're standing here with Flight Nurse Ryan learning everything there is to know about Memorial Hermann Lifelight here at the Texas Medical Center in Houston, Texas. That's just absolutely mind-boggling. Well, I want to say thank you so much for having us. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for coming out, Cowboy Jack.
All right. Well, hey, we do something at the end of the show always. We always do a yeehaw. Okay. Could I convince you to maybe do a yeehaw with me?
Let's do it.
So it's real important. You have to throw your hand up, jump, and spin while you yell yeehaw.
Okay. Do we have to throw our hats or anything?
No, I don't throw my hat.
Okay.
Because you know what? Hey, these guys are laughing at my hair. Anyways. All right. So let's count to 3 and then let's do a yeehaw.
Okay. Got it.
1, 2, 3. Yeehaw! Howdy, cowboys and cowgirls. I'm Cowboy Jack, and today I'm really excited. We're someplace really unique, and we're going to learn some really cool things. Look at where we're at. That's right, we're at Texas Flight here in Spring, Texas at Hooks Airport. So we're gonna learn all about airplanes. You guys may have been on a big commercial flight before where you're going a long distance, but these little planes have a whole lot of power and they're really cool. And you can get on them and go a lot of different places. They're a lot smaller and they're run from different smaller airports. They can run from the big airports too, but today we're here at Hooks and we're gonna learn all about these planes. Come on, let's go check them out. All right, let's go check out this plane. Wow, so this right here is a single engine Cessna plane. Isn't that really cool? Now, this doesn't have an engine with a whole bunch of different propellers. It's got an engine right underneath this hood here, kind of like a car, and it drives this propeller. Now, what this propeller does is gives us thrust for the airplane to go. Isn't that really cool? And it's got 3 wheels. If you never take a look at the wheels on an airplane, but see, it's got 1, 2, and then 1 on the other side. Now, right in here is the cockpit. That's where the pilot sits. On an airplane, we call them pilots. It's a really important job because they're actually driving us through the air, and they sit right in here. But you know what I learned today that's really, really cool? I had no idea. Do you know where the gas tank is on an airplane? I didn't. It's right here in the wing. Isn't that crazy? So this is aviation fuel that powers these. They don't run on gasoline or diesel. It's a different special blend of fuel to power these big machines. And these wings are really cool. They have a lot of different things on them. These planes are absolutely covered with different instruments. Just like this right here. You know what these are called? These are nav lights. So there's 2 on every wing and there's 1 on the tail fin as well. And what that does is at night, if you were to look up and see an airplane, you would know, okay, there's a green light and a white light plus another white light. So that means the plane is going this way. Or on the other side, you might see a nav light running with red, white, and another white on that side. So you would know, oh, the plane's going this way. It's a really complicated system, but it's really useful for people that know a lot about planes. You can tell exactly where a plane's going, even in the dark. These planes are really cool. So this device here does a lot of different things. See this? It actually moves up and down just like this. Whoa, and we can move it all around. Normally, when we see something really powerful and strong on a big machine, we think that's powered by hydraulics, and that's usually the case. These are actually mechanical, which means they run on an electric motor that gets the electricity from an alternator from that big motor that drives the whole plane. And so these are moved. There's a lot of different ways you can move an airplane, right? Planes don't drive on the road where it's just left, right, slow down, go fast, speed up, slow down, all that. You can actually turn in all kinds of different directions. And that's what these flaps do. These aren't actually called flaps, but when you would move these up or down, it would help the plane to lean like this and go like this. But these flaps right here, these control more like the lift. See, when they're like this would be great for takeoff. They're at like 10 degrees and it helps the plane get up in the air really fast. Now, when they fold them all the way down, you might have seen that on a commercial flight if you were sitting by the wings. When you pull into an airport, they pull these all the way down, and that creates a lot of drag, so the airplane slows down really fast. Boy, I just love this airplane. They've got a bunch of different antennas on it because you have to communicate with different towers when you're up in the air. You have to have radio, radar, all kinds of different communication, because you don't want to just be up in the air all by yourself. Other people need to know where you're at, how fast you're going, and when you're coming in. So inside the airplane, it looks a lot like an automobile, just like a car that you might ride in, except there is no steering wheel in there. Guys, take a look at that. See, this has all kinds of gauges, and there's a lot of different kinds of cockpits out there. Some cockpits have a lot of what's called steam gauges in them, and other ones have what they call glass cockpits. And we're gonna get to see those because you know what they have here? A really cool flight simulator. That's where people come right here to Texas Flight and actually learn how to fly in a simulated environment before they actually get in an airplane. Well, you can actually get in an airplane pretty quick with a teacher and learn in person, but the simulator is really important for like emergency situations. Like if they wanted to simulate losing an engine, what do? You would do it in the simulator first before doing it in a live airplane. But they teach all kinds of really cool stuff here. Like you could come here not knowing how to fly a plane at all, and through time, practice, and effort, you would become a pilot that could actually go out and fly all on your own. It's so cool. I don't want to leave this door open, so I'm going to go ahead and close it back up. Whew. And see, that hinge works just kind of like a car door. So we talked about that. The flaps help with thrust. Those other flaps make it go like this. Now on the tail, this flap here, it helps the plane turn just like this. So if you just use that, you would just be turning side to side, not very exciting. But if you use it in combination with those other flaps, you can go and all over the place. You can turn basically any direction you would want to ever. And it's really cool because you use all these different systems. That's why a pilot has such a tough job, because we're not driving on a road, we're driving in the air. And so they can turn and go any single way they want. There's no road underneath them. They make their own path. And this also goes up and down just like that other one. Boy, I mean, there's just a crazy amount to see. Oh, hold on, I gotta show you this. This is really cool. Have you ever seen an airplane that's getting an engine job done? Look at this. Whoa. So this airplane actually has its engine pulled off right now, and it's being worked on in the shop right next door. You know, one thing that's really important about airplanes that everybody has to know is that it's not all just the glamour of being a pilot and getting to drive these things. The people that take care of them are extremely skilled workers. They have to know so many different systems. They have to know about combustion engines, electrical systems, alternators, all kinds of communication devices and all that stuff. And they actually have a shop right of their very own right here at Texas Flight, right next door. Do you guys want to go check it out? All right, cowboys and cowgirls, like I said, here at Texas Flight, they have their own mechanic shop so they can take care of all their planes. I think they have about 15 airplanes of their own right here at Hooks Airport. So that's a big job taking care of all those. Some people send them out to a mechanic or have a mechanic come in and work on them, but they actually have mechanics that work for them here because it's such an important piece of the puzzle. We have an airplane, you have to take care of it, you have to maintain it. And you have to log that maintenance with a governing body to make sure that you're not taking off in something that isn't safe for flight. So this airplane right here, wow, this is a little bit different from that one we looked at next door. This is actually a twin engine airplane. So you can see there's an engine right here and an engine on that other side right there. Now, this airplane is undergoing its annual system check right now. So that means they basically tear it all apart, check every piece. They have to calibrate every instrument. They have to check the tension on all the cables, make sure the engine is in tip-top shape, all gaskets. I mean, this is just an internal combustion engine. It's not like the engine of a car because these are the way the combustion chambers are set up and the pistons and everything, they're opposite of each other. In like a regular car, you would have something called a V8. That's where everything is in a V shape. These are opposing combustion. But anyways, they're doing a great job taking this all apart and checking every part. You know, being an airplane mechanic is an incredible career path. It's a really skilled job. So they do a great job on all these. I mean, they're even taking off the nose of the plane here and checking all of this electrical stuff. And look, I mean, the tools that you use are a lot like the tools that an auto mechanic uses. And we've learned about an auto mechanic before. That's a really important job too, because you have to keep your vehicle running just like you would want to keep your plane in tip-top shape. So I'm really grateful that these guys know how to work on these things, so all of us can just keep on up in the air and enjoying ourselves flying. All right, cowboys and cowgirls, just like we talked about, they have a really cool flight simulator here at Texas Flight. See? Redbird flight simulations. Wow, right here at Texas Flight, because that's where we are today. My buddy Chris right here is an actual flight instructor, and he teaches a whole lot of folks how to fly. He's in here doing a flight right now, and he said we could hop in and take a look with him. You guys want to come on? Whoa. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Cowboy Jack.
Wow, how's the skies today?
Clear as can be, not a cloud in the sky.
Wow, so you're actually, I mean, this is a simulator, but it's simulating like you're actually flying this airplane right here.
Yes, sir, that's correct. And what we'll do is we'll teach our students how to fly this aircraft first, and then once they know how to do this aircraft, then we'll put them outside on the real airplane you were just looking at.
Wow, I mean, this looks like real life. That is so cool. And I see you're coming up to an airstrip there.
Yes, sir, this is David Wayne Hooks that we're landing at right now.
So this is an actual, does this look like it actually looks outside?
Yes, sir.
That's incredible. And all these gauges are just like they would be in a steam gauge airplane, right?
Yes, sir. We have the airspeed indicator. This is an attitude indicator, our altitude, and other instruments that also help me to fly the airplane.
This is so crazy. And see this right here, I know this because he already taught me. This is called the yoke. And that's basically the steering wheel of an airplane. But a whole lot of other devices. See, he's working his hands on the throttle and the nose operation right there. And see, there's also pedals, just kind of like gas and brake on a car, but that's not what they do. He is coming in for a real landing right here at David Hooks Airport.
These lights here tell me I'm not too high and I'm not too low.
Ooh, the anticipation's got me. This is going to be a great landing.
Very skillful landing to try to do. One of the many talents that we'll teach you here when you become a pilot.
Wow, look at that. We're back on terra firma. Hey, that was that was the smoothest landing I've ever felt in my entire life.
Well, thank you, Cowboy Jack.
See, that's really great. We're here with Chris, and he, like I said, he actually teaches folks how to be a pilot. So he's got a lot of experience, and flying in this simulator is just kind of like having a little bit of fun so we could see exactly what it looks like. But he's very well qualified to go out and fly in a real airplane. Wow, and you can see, I mean, Guys, look, it looks exactly like inside an airplane because you can see all the way around. We're right in Spring, Texas, so you can see all these really pretty trees, of course. Wow. Well, hey, thank you for showing us that. That was incredible.
Yes, sir, Cowboy Jack.
Wow.
Let's back in the air.
Whew. Let me get out of this. Boy, that simulator is really, really cool. That's like flying without actually flying. Hey, do you guys know how they move an airplane like this? It's actually a really cool process. You have this device here that connects to that bottom wheel, and you just use your muscles to pull it out. Do you guys think Cowboy Jack can pull a plane? I never have tried before, but I'm gonna give it a shot now. Let's see. Look at this. I'm actually pulling an airplane with my muscles. That's so cool. Never done this before, and here I am doing it. Wow. And see, I think we're about where we need to be because these guys are about to take off. So I did my part, and here we are. Wow. I didn't know. You assume that these airplanes are really big, heavy machines, but you have to remember they have to fly, so they have to be lightweight as well. And I'm not super duper strong. I am big and have muscles, but I didn't think I could pull an airplane, and I just did it effortlessly. Hey guys, I thought I'd just take this airplane for a spin real quick. Well, I'm not actually qualified to fly this plane, but my friend Chris, the flight instructor here at Texas Flight, is. And so, could you tell me what a few of these things are?
Absolutely, Cowboy Jack. So this gauge tells us how fast we're going through the air. Well, we can go typically about 110 miles an hour, or knots, as we call it in aviation. This tells me whether we're in a climb or a dive. This tells me my pitch. This we can set the current altimeter setting to, and it will tell me how high we are. Currently at Hooks Airport, we're only 152 feet off the ground. This tells us our direction that we're flying, if we're flying east or north. This tells me how fast we're climbing, 500 feet a minute or even 1,000 feet a minute.
Wow.
This is a GPS, just like in your car, but we can go to different airports, and this will tell us how to get there.
Wow, so that's a GPS just like on your phone or in your vehicle or even on your boat. Same concept.
That's right, Cowboy Jack.
And this is the yoke. I remember this is the yoke.
That's right.
That's really cool. I feel like I'm flying. I'm not, but well, thank you for showing us around. This has been really, really cool.
Of course.
All right, well, I better get out of this driver's seat before somebody catches me here. I'm not qualified to do this. All right, wow, let's take a look at this plane. This one's a lot bigger than those others. So this is a Cessna 206. It's a single engine airplane, but look at the size of this propeller. It's much larger than those others. And this engine actually has a turbo in it. So this is like a performance plane. When you first start learning, you learn on those smaller planes. This plane has a much larger engine, and it's also wider and just all around bigger. Like it's got these big old tires down here. Now these kind of tires like this would enable the plane to land on all kinds of surfaces. I mean, all kinds of planes can land on all kinds of surfaces. But when you have this kind of setup with these bigger tires, you can actually get out of places a lot faster. Like if you wanted to take off on a really short runway, or you were in an open field but you didn't have that long of a distance, this tire right here being a bigger creates a better angle for this thing to take off the ground faster. So like that other airplane, I was really having to crouch down, and I am about 6 feet tall. This is still pretty tall, but wow, I mean, this airplane is really cool. And as you can see on the inside, it seats a lot more people. See, look right there. You've got the pilot, the co-pilot, 2 passengers, and even 2 more passengers in the way back. That's really cool. Wow, and I mean, it's got all the same devices as those other planes. It's just bigger and stronger and faster. All right, well, what we have right here is an actual space rover. NASA was working really hard to build a space rover that could travel all over the surface of the moon and possibly Mars. And so they worked on this prototype for many, many years. They needed to develop something where astronauts could actually live inside this capsule for up to a month at a time. And so there's actually a bed in there, but a whole lot of instruments and of course a steering wheel and cockpit because somebody had to drive the thing. Wow. Oh, and then right here in front, this is actually called the Centaur rover. What it is, it's a humanoid-like body, so it's got like this helmet on it, but that's actually got cameras in there. There's no eyes, and he's got little hands that could work and operate tools, but this was a miniature rover that they could deploy to take all kinds of specific scientific tests from whatever surface they were working on. Wow, right here you can see more into the cockpit of this really cool space rover. Wow, and over here you can see this thing has some pretty incredible wheels on it. It's got like so many different axles, and each of them have dual tires. This was a really cool experiment. Although it didn't make it all the way to space, it taught us some important lessons about space rovers when they were testing it in Arizona several years ago. All right, cowboys and cowgirls, well, the Lone Star Flight Museum just got gifted something really amazing. You know what this is? This is the Space Shuttle Simulator. Well, there was 3 of them, and this was in use by all astronauts who worked on the Space Shuttle program up until 2011. They would train in this, and it's an exact simulation of the actual space shuttle. They said we could go inside and check it out. Do you guys want to see what the inside of a space shuttle is? Okay, we'll do something. I'm just kidding. Let's go check it out. Come on. Wow. And this whole unit was mounted on hydraulics. We talk about hydraulics a lot. So that way when the pilots were driving this thing and doing their flight simulations, it would rock them all around just like a real life situation. But come on, let's go check it out. Wow. This is crazy. So when an astronaut was doing their job on the space shuttle, this is what they were doing. They were operating this just like a pilot. All right, well, now that we're settled into the cockpit of the space shuttle, this is incredible. So this is like the joystick that they would use to drive the space shuttle, but there's so many different elements to this. There's a couple of pedals down there, just like gas and brake, but I'm sure that's not actually what they do. I have no idea what all of these levers and switches do. This is crazy. Astronauts have such a tough job to fly this device. Wow, I have no idea what any of this does. And you know what? What's even more scary? Look up, it doesn't stop down here. There's switches all the way back here. I mean, they have endless tasks to do just to fly this thing. This is crazy. And this is a whole lot of fun because I've never been inside a space shuttle before, obviously. I mean, that's like top secret stuff. But since this is here at the museum, we're actually allowed to come in here and check it out. This is so much fun. And you know, they would be sitting in a space suit. So I'm just wearing my Cowboy Jack outfit. I wouldn't even have my hat on. Whew, it gets hot in these flight simulators. Hey, stop laughing at my hair. Put it back on. But they would be in a space suit right here trying to operate all these switches and everything, because once you take off, your next stop is outer space. That's incredible. All right, cowboys and cowgirls, wow, this has been an amazing experience. I mean, we've done everything from look at airplanes to looking inside the cockpit of the space shuttle, and we tried hang gliding out. We looked around some Jeeps. We looked inside a giant helicopter. My head's spinning. The Lone Star Flight Museum has so much to offer. Until I see you next time,